So at the end of the day, Tsukimichi with this week's episode pretty much introduced the power of friendship, and is maybe one of the only cases of the power of friendship being done right. Because Hibiki's ability that she ends up getting is essentially the power of friendship. She consumes the emotions of others to power herself up, which is essentially what most battle shonens rely on without actually having an ability. It's just more of, my friends are in danger, so I'm going to help them. But the idea of what is actually a heroic ability, and is a complete polar opposite contrast to what Tomiki got. So, despite getting the same color grading as confirmed when she's picking out her ability, this man got essentially a tactical nuke of an ability. She got an ability that relies on feeding off of the emotions of others to power herself up. The contrast and the night and day difference between their current personalities speaks volumes. Though they had me worried when she asked for an ability that basically the price would be like most of her mana and 80% of the population of this world. Thank God Tomiki didn't have that option or think of that option, because he probably would have accepted it. But this was probably my favorite fight in all of Tsukimichi. Not only was it probably one of the best produced episodes we've seen, Io vs Makoto was just incredibly fun and well done, and honestly seeing that super suit just really be able to flex what it's capable of against someone who actually feels like he has 4 arms rather than a lot of these shows that pretend he does, but it's like, you know, you could easily I don't know, I feel like I've seen so many characters with multiple limbs, and it doesn't actually feel like they have multiple limbs. It feels more like they're still fighting with 2 hands, where this guy, even Makoto says like, oh shit, I only have 2 hands, and then in comes a couple more blows. Just in general, it was like a perfect episode for this type of show. Now, of course, I have full live reactions to all these Tsukimichi episodes over on Patreon. If you want to see my full and good thought to this latest episode or any of these episodes, it's going to be over there exclusively. So, very, very fun episode. Luckily, we still have 3 episodes to go, as it is a 25 episode season. So, for some of you who thought maybe we only had 2 more episodes to go because we're used to maybe the 24 episode counts, luckily, we got till the end of the month, which I'm happy for, because we are in the golden era of Tsukimichi, and I really hope they immediately confirm a season 3, and I don't even care if it takes a couple of years, just get that confirmation out of the way so we can foam at the mouth waiting for more. Because right now, we are at an interesting stage. We have Makoto realizing that Hibiki from his original world, his senpai, is here. There's a lot of questions he probably has. The idea of wanting to obviously keep a lot of his trump cards close to his chest, in case he ever does have to go up against the hero or anyone else in this area. The fact that he's actually kind of conflicted, he's like, man, I really don't want to kill Io, because if I do make deals with demons and stuff, you know, I'd kind of like to have someone like this on my side, but currently he's more or less shit out of luck. It's funny though, because you don't think much of it, but the idea of what they did with Shiki is actually some pretty good characterization. So, obviously, with the school stuff and the students, that was a pretty important part of the season. And the idea that we more or less have someone who obviously looks at these humans as, well, they're weaker than everything, and obviously they're not really that special, but the students generally impressed him. The idea that after trapping in the barrier and seeing the determination, which was very similar to that of the students, he's like, you know what, I'll give you an out. If you can find a way to break through this barrier, I won't keep you here and I won't act like you can't help. And the idea of essentially what ended up becoming the power of friendship, it was in a blink of an eye moment for them, but we have that conversation, we get the color grading, and then it's like, pick your ability, more or less pick your poison. Initially when she said like, feed off the emotions of others, I was like, oh, this could actually be pretty devastating, but given that he said that it was a very heroic ability, I was like, I'm not going to get worried, but it is concerning because I'm thinking like physically draining like strength and emotions and leaving them as zombies. But instead, it's just, that is what you would want a hero ability to be. Imagine being on a battlefield, you know, there's going to be emotions of all sorts. People who are on an adrenaline high, just cutting down fools. People who are scared, people who are worried. All of those emotions being able to be fed to a singular person to enhance them would make them very, very, very strong. And like I said, it is a good thing she didn't go for the ability that would have cost 80% of the population. In general though, it will be interesting to see what they want to do with Hibiki as well as Makoto, because obviously our boy is like, oh, that's her. Why is she wearing slutty clothing? Of course, you can always thank the goddess, but I think we can really throw it in the goddess's face that armor that properly covers you is much more effective than armor that barely covers you, despite what she'll want to say. Her beauty standards are just ass. But I love the idea that this episode just felt like payoff. I mean, I'm not saying this season of Tsukimichi has been perfect. I had plenty of criticisms with Core 1. But the idea of where we've ended up, I honestly wouldn't change much. I understood we had catch up to do. I understood there was things we'd have to get over. And while there's certain things that maybe could have lasted longer in the early stages of Season 2, kinda did feel like certain plot points came and went as quick as they did, but it's like, there's something so rewarding of seeing a fight that's this well animated. Our boy, Shiki, also had some fun fights, though he called them cattle, and it's kinda disrespectful, I'm not gonna lie. The fact that you're thinking, oh, they're gonna be a fun fight, you cut away to Makoto, and then you look over and they're just like, they're half of a torso at that point, and they're just burning and dusting away, and I'm like, that's hilarious. Though, the names he chose, Master and Larva, I see you, Shiki, I see you, was pretty funny. But it was just like, it was crazy to see the difference of what Hibiki was going up against with this guy versus us in our super suit, which we weren't even using our full capabilities, we were still pulling punches and not using everything we were capable of. It does seem like the next couple of episodes will probably be pretty crazy, with 25 maybe being the calm before the storm of whatever Season 3 is going to look like, but in general, I don't think many people are going to have a major criticism with this episode. You got the action you've definitely wanted to see, which was well produced. You got a reunion that definitely has you speculate. Hibiki's new ability, I mean, listen, I've seen a lot of power of friendship in my day, and this is like one of the rare cases, and maybe only cases, where it actually feels justified, and actually for a hero is something you'd want to see, but like I said, it reinforces Tomoki's nuclear bomb of death and what type of a person he actually is. I think for as messy as you can sometimes say the season of Tsukimichi has been, it's never dipped below fun for me, and that's a big important thing, because we come to anime to have fun, damn it, and honestly, I remember when we first saw, I think it was the opening, and we saw Makoto in a super suit, I remember people were like, what in the actual hell, like, why is he, why? But now seeing it in execution, man, it's like, you know what? I want to see that super suit in action more, because it actually does quite a cool few things. I mean, at one point he's flipped and it actually readjusts his balance so he doesn't fall on his ass. I don't know, it was pretty cool, and somehow just kind of works in a fantasy world despite being more Super Sentai than anything. But anyway, that's all from me. Let me know what you thought of this week's episode down below. What did you think of the power of friendship, aka Hibiki's new ability, and what it says about Tomoki, given that they were so similar yet chose such different paths? Let me know down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell, and like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we have Michael L., Kieran Dean, Draco Burns, and The Legend of Sora 73. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.